I've been seeing a lot on my TikTok. I don't know about yours, Shayla, but a lot of people have been mentioning the name Telvin Osborne, right? And I like it was for me when I kept seeing it on social media, I just kept scrolling past it on TikTok. I was like, all right, like I don't know, it was just something that I just didn't really want to hear about. Like I was just like, it was like in my head, and it's sad to think, but I was like, another black man killed. Like, and I didn't know the reasoning or how he was killed or what happened, nothing like that. But for my peace of mind, I was like, literally come from work, looking at news all day. I don't want to see this, right? So after like I want to say my 20th scroll past the video, I was like, okay, what is going on? Like, why is everybody talking about this? So let me give y'all some background details. So a domestic dispute in Georgia led to a fatal shooting of a 30-year-old named Telvin Osborne. And so there, his a 25-year-old named Hannah Grace Cobb was arrested and charged with a felony involuntary manslaughter. Now you're like, okay, what about it? So, Telvin was found unresponsive with a gunshot wound in the chest, later pronounced dead at the hospital. Hannah, who was his partner and the baby mama to his two children, was arrested on Tuesday, February 25th. So she claims the shooting was accidental while she was checking the firearm. Like, well, she said that she was cleaning the firearm, and that's something that she does nightly, right? So the investigation found that there was no evidence of her actually cleaning the weapon, and that the sheriff in that county basically stated that alcohol, arguing, and physical altercations were involved before the shooting. So Hannah remains in custody without bond as the investigation continues. So let me show y'all what he looks like really quickly. So this is Telvin. um Telvin and Hannah, right? Cool. This is her mugshot, right? Cool, right? So now you're like, okay, I hear it. Like his baby mother shot him. She's saying that she was cleaning her weapon. Apparently they had went out, they were drinking and stuff like that. And then she came home. The family's like, why would you go out after a whole night of partying and everything, come home while you're drunk and decide to clean your gun? That doesn't make any sense. Right? So right now she's being held in jail. So now this is where the situation is like, this situation is definitely a situation. And let's talk about why is being talked about so spreadly, like so widely on social media. So after I see all this, I see people in the comments and I see a lot of black women making videos like talk about I'm not supporting that man. Like I'm not speaking out for him. Like I'm not saying justice for him. I'm like, what is going on? Girl. So you remember those same photos that I showed you? These are just some of the posts that have been dug up from Telvin's Facebook, and I'll show you a little later on his Twitter post as well, of him basically bashing black women and talking about how much he loves his white baby mama. So let's talk about the first one up all the way in the corner. He said, I'll fuck a dog before I fuck a black bitch, and it gotta be a white dog though. Next post. Thankful for this little blonde blessing of mine. Another post, somebody had basically commented on this photo that he posted with a black goat and said, so you do date black girls. And he said, you gonna get me in trouble. Another post. I'll kill for her. I'll kill about her. I ain't scared to say it. I'll die about her. Baby, yes, you did. You died by her. Yup. And so then we also go to his Twitter really quickly. So in his Twitter, if you can see in his bio, he said, I love them white girls. They already know. And then he also just makes a bunch of random posts about white girls, way better black girls. Like you see the material that's happening here, right? So now his family, someone who's claiming that they're his cousin or whatever like that, basically, and his brother has spoken out and said, like, why is the black community not stepping up for him? This, that, and the third. Sir, are we seeing the same things here? It's like you made it a point when you were, and it's like, I never wish death on nobody. There's certain people, or I'm like, if you were to take your last breath, it is what it is. But it's not something I actively sit there and say that I wish on people. If while you were alive, you made it a point to consistently, unprovoked, disrespect black women, why do you think that at the time of your death, I need to sit there and yell justice for you? Why do you think that you could sit there and you can, and I just want to preface this by saying, if that is your preference, go ahead. I will never, if you prefer to date outside of your race, that is what you like, but you don't have to sit there and bash another race to sit there and make your preference seem more acceptable. And so this is why we are talking about this today, because to me, when I saw this, like, I was just like, oh my God, like, that's crazy. Like, his baby mama shot him. But like, the deeper I started reading into it, I don't feel bad. Like, I don't. And it's like, I'm the type of person who needs all the details. Like, Shayla will look at something and she's very empathetic, and she will sit there and automatically start to feel some type of way for that person. Me, I have to look at all the details and think, like, do I feel bad? And I'm like, I don't. Like, I really don't. You have anything to add, Shayla?
First of all, to the point that I'm empathetic. Yes, I'm empathetic, but also I also need to have information. Yes, I am way more caring than you are, but also the math is not mathing, and when the math isn't mathing, I also have a lot of logic. So
Yes.
yeah, in this situation, I feel like I don't even know why the family would say that when these screenshots are out there. Like, obviously 1 + 1 = 2. If someone has actively been disrespecting me and my community, I will not be there for you, point blank period. It is a sad story, but that's on y'all and your family. Like, why are they talking about, oh, why the black community is this? You are the community. Like, you can you know what's Onijah? She broke into another person's press conference. You should do the same. Figure out a way to find justice for your family member. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like the times when people do speak out, or like certain communities speak up for a person or someone that passed away, it's because, they are a part of the community, but also, like you mentioned, they see the facts, they see what's happening, and then from there they move accordingly. I'm sure when this news first broke, people were like, oh, I also want to say, I feel like this is not the first or the last time where a white woman does this type of stuff, or like when people are in interracial relationships. I'm not saying that this only happens in interracial relationships, but um yeah, I feel like they shouldn't be surprised. And especially when you were so vocal about your hate towards your own people, like, it's very weird. No one cares that, like, men love to bring this up. It's about preference. It's about preference. Okay, but if in your preference you're going out of your way to bash and talk down upon women that are in another race that is not your preference, that's where the issue lies. Because, all right, if you like white women, that's fine. But don't sit there and at every chance you get try to bash someone that's not white, because that's weird. You look dumb. And now, look, actions have consequences.
Right. And it's like, so now a lot of people have been saying, like, rest in preference and stuff like that when it comes to him. And my whole situation, like, I have my own thoughts when it comes to interracial relationships. Maybe one day we'll do a video about it. Today, not going to get very far into it. But it's like, when it comes to people using this word preference, to me, I don't know. Like, let's say if I was to date a man that's outside of my race, if his reasoning for dating me is to bash a different race, I'm going to look at you and ask the question, do you really like me, or do you like me because of your hatred for a different group? Like, I never understood that. It doesn't make sense to me. It moves very weird. And obviously, like, this is a grander conversation, and this is like the case that we're using to get to that conversation. But it's just like, I don't understand. And then, like, his cousin got on like a Facebook live, and he was basically like, I would fuck, he's like, look how you black bitches is acting. I would just fuck a white bitch too. And it's like, you are missing the point completely. Like, you can have your preference. No one is saying you can't have your preference. If that is what you like, if that is the flavor, if that is what you want to dip your finger into and taste, baby, go ahead. I will never tell you don't do that. But leave me and my community out of it. Let your reasonings for your love for that person be the reason why you love that person. You don't have to bash a completely other group to get to the love that you feel like you want to have with that person. Do what you want, do what you will. And now look at you in a grave. But that's just me.